creating public services, commissions, and then civil services or civil education, adult education, civil education. We have those commissions to educate the villages and to educate the people. You need civic education in Ghana.
But what type of education are they?
That is what I mean. The education beyond the classroom, Ghana is not short of.
Abuja for Mamunya Kwabason, Kondeba, RAZ Media GH, and Anopai, and some more. And some when you say the fake journalism in Ghana, a yabana we. Now, Mommy and Konin Kokotia video way, how are the international diplomatics, Alpha Wahab, Farouk, a church and Semu, Kwaya, the fake journalism. Stomach direction journalist or more Ghana, Captain Smart, Yati, Kevin Taylor, the Americans, and Kwasiafubidoma, all what they do is they say, Omo, Ebeye agenda, ama political parties, or the Munchle Mwaba, and to the young Konkoti, Yaba, Yabesaya, Atwa Society, Pepe, young Konkoti, Yabesaya Atwaso.
Beyond the classroom, Ghana is not short of creating public services, commissions, and then civil services or civil education, adult education, civil education. We have those commissions to educate the villages and to educate the people. You need civic education in Ghana.
But what type of education are they?
That is what I mean.
I see a journalist interviewing a president as if say, or you maid, as if say, or you fear maid, be a yes, uncle 7 paying for Diana. That's how I see.
And then I make sure say, that is why people, when I was talking to you yesterday, at length, I said, be prepared and let's deal with issues. And he said, which way? Let me say, and I believe that you're a woman of integrity. If not for anything at all, I said, who are Juma, we are her, who are baby da. Or which you cry, may God forbid, still our country, our government, system. Oh, Yaria, who are car diabetes in their hospital. And to be obedient to me in free Ghana. So, your NDC and MPP, the 20,000 they could do be at them lesson. But,
Uncle for you,
and then I may ban. But some of you out there in UK, in Germany, in other places, and even within Ghana and outside Ghana, your man talking or say, well, man cry, I'm a shepherd. What they are causing it dying. Enti no the obekano, your chairman no obeka. Enti me good number of radio houses. You cannot interview me because you don't control the horizon, and you do not make mistake to delve me into any identity because agenda no enye juma I want so. And good number of the moderators sitting behind the console, all of them have agenda. The agenda is that either say station obi na power no, obi na tria bills, obi na sponsor no, and to hear the agenda of that political party. And no need problem ni say, ye mami ye papa mama nya kwanko school. Ontimi read and writing. No I gullible. No I fragile. No I so vulnerable no. I will tear crossing. O here radio kakra no na watie bibi. But radio no wo tie no. Ye ka kire say, abana ya de. And I'm referring to the two governments. Wabon home modern. But no also kwhwede dem a when you say the pillowcase da form. Only one that done the bedroom ade be kira wo na kaneba. But wabe accept the ye kan or radio because no na fa na sum. However, onim say ohwe nani abi kura anya no kure, but we have come to believe in the lies. And what do we call it? And then your friends say agenda. Into the media landscape, as so ka ho, they suppose say kom susu no ebiem neutrality. Papa, America on the media issues. I have you your pro government CNN, Obianim say a Democrat. Obianim say NBC, a Republican, Obianim say Fox near the day. But when it borders on national issues, when it borders on policies, Politics there will be a bit mind there, but when it borders on national issues and policy issues, you cannot delve it. You can't do it otherwise.
But
you understand? The longest serving NBC news forecaster of the United States, one of the most experienced, was with NBC News in 2002, post 9/11. He mistakenly, say, America, Iraq, any Afghanistan no mokono, George Bush Senior, a Juma Wenwieno, and a junior Nebetnaso. That borders on Americans, not George Bush. Say Ghana dia enke hooray for a certain party or a certain other opposition or the government. But within 24 hours, the Congress of United States etnase, say NBC News, that particular Scott or something, he was one of the top American political analyst and then presenter. They took him off, and never in the history of America for him to sit on TV. And even his entitlements was not to be paid. They sacked him forever and lost everything. This is a country talking. Yet there no entisa. Yet there obi ye station neshe goso. Obi ye station wa denta. Obi ye station wa ha. O kwa kope juma wa ha ubusa o background. Wama wati say station ruano NDC, and indeed NDC for the budget call. Station ruan MPP indeed. MPP didn't budget call. She country political parties, MPP, NDC, omu mienu, omu ntimi nkanche me say, NDC ntimi nkanche they are pass. I'll start with them and talk about the ruling government. On ntimi nkanche me say, omu ntia media agenda fee. MPP wayatra amanaboso, and this what tria and the one tria nkasino no abetua chewa. Na akache say wato media. Now the auto media no. What's the difference? And it's a water also better chill. The bottom line is that when do we stop that nonsense? That is where some of you people should stand against. Say, aye ye, because there will be a that talk. What talk air time? No a timid Gina ho. No a casasa either against NDC or against MPP. Seriously, so we don't have a balance. At the end of the day, just say. Two governments in Inano will be any time. And to me, they always say, one ye, we are ye. Say our timer, changing yama. Honestly, there be Uber Island once as I let Mrs. Nunama up to today. Every president betrawa indemnity clause, Bibia, Efivano, or no moon or betranasino. Otimia Bibia, or qua the immunity, Ecovano. Or ma yencheno. But ni minister etim kojina court. And to babu say, na se beni. Minister no kojina court no. Se contract no sign in no disika. No minister can take a check of a ministry and go and withdraw money and eat. And yet possible. No chief executive officer or any part of Ghana, a state corporation or state commission obitimenyeska Ghana sika. Ghana sika bama yenyi ni easy sao. A state corporation as you can easy sao. Mama this education, several platforms. Self so be cocoa board. And as a several disika. And I'm sorry to hear from Fanjemi. Let me use so be to say opuni in perspective as an example. Or for Fanjemi. But I'm using it as an example. Say the $19 million they are talking about. No CEO of any part of Ghana, any bit or what that possibility or what that power to sign that money and collect from bank is not true.
So what happened?
Somebody from accounts department would have to prepare their ledgers. Account department new year or the community supervisor level 3, they are the same office. Obeji non so signing non so they are called and they are comma the director, the manager. Manager, and so I know their command director of finance. Director of finance, you are their command chief executive officer. Chief executive officer, we are assigning their command board. Board, we are was signing their corner sector minister. So in the case of, let's say, Cocoa Board, the sector ministry, Ministry of Agric. Into a free management, chief executive one, Ako Ministry of Agric. Ministry of Agric Defense, a deputy Nebedi Kaji. Deputy Shemu Wia, what they are called, your friend say, chief, what's the name? Chief director, what you say? Chief director ni wia once why ye amenity their command a minister no. Minister ni wia ampa. She process ni nipa afa wo mu nsema bedu minister no ho. Na minister ni wia a secretary ho asem. Enti minini ministry no oni power. Enti eso de call say ye statutory or state contract eso de call parliamentary select committee of that particular ministry no de call. O mu si ya hwema wie no ma sa de be ministry na approval ene fako no de akọ no de akọ the finance ministry gi anya onu na betua sika no onso se ne me susu me de kwa akoma auditor general anasa accountant general auditor general hwem wi a e de akoma accountant general sika ne bi o se ane accountant general wi a watwe blue check ni wi a o de akoma ministry ni back na ministry de akoma Bank of Ghana na Bank of Ghana di sika no e de akoto ansa na sa chief executive na okan you should process the compact, the system as kind of film. Some of them are land road construction, a quaco council of state, a quaco presidency for advice. Then you now and send a chief executive from this kind of Saban ho. No way ye. That's whom could dear Omedi. Said disbursement a woman check. Such channels nina. How many contracts of Ghana Attorney General Department? In this Attorney General Department, what ratify a certain amount to be paid? What advise the Finance Ministry? What advise the Ministry of that sector ministry? What advise the Council of State? What advise the Parliament? Attorney General, because now Attorney General. Adia China Sako Kaba, na government in one year coach, be a chief executive officer, Attorney General, no attorney. No, Sabina court, no, he defended. Is it not insane?
It's insane. It's insane.
It is not insane. And to mention somebody should educate me on this program. Who knows better? I'm so many say, Sagana Sika ye tria with state corporations, no. Emudiahi and a director, chief director, and answer minister, and answer chief executive officer or town office. It is not true. It goes through hell.
I know, but don't you think for the people who work being in one way with the game, you know, don't you think they can all sign it and just let it pass through?
That is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, no, and then any papa wouldn't be in a court.
And so no
because on any sector, it do who we are, it will still end nowhere.
No way.
We all have to change the mindset
and
educate the people to understand the structure, not to take a political position in anything. And unfortunately, the political position now,
average
people who are taking and now bastardizing the whole system. I'm a poverty now is so enhanced.
In the next. Like you see, the question was still not answered to me. To tell you the truth, Messi, do you find Ghana? Do you see potential? You said there are potentials, because of course, so much potential. Every child has potential.
It is a promised land.
It is a. But do you see?
We don't harness the potentials.
We don't harness it. Okay, and then there's no potential. I'm for. Canada, Japan, back on Ghana. We. Oh, I am Canadian. Hey, now I say, "Okra, dear grow hachu." Papa Farouk dear grow into Bahand the Biana, and I may pay us just a minute and but you see what nature to say what the top me like he's right here, and it is so funny. Yempre ewa braboimu. So what I say, yempre kura. We have all those things, but unfortunately, you talk about so many things. Metiakura, like I'm so. My head is spinning, but you talked about betting and gambling. Ghana not doing anything about anything. They don't do anything about anything. simple things like gambling, things that will destroy
it makes the country lazy.
Lazy. If a animal gambling, game and gambling, which is the alcohol, the same institution or the same department that controls the alcohol. I have a smart serve certificate, and a smart serve because I used to have a restaurant. I also had a liquor license, and the amount of things I have to know, the amount of responsibility
that you have to take,
the amount of accountability. If somebody leaves my establishment and drinks and does not reach home, I will be sued and everything is gone. So it puts the responsibility on me. I went to a bar and I ordered one wine. And one wine, because I was having fun, so for the first time, the bartender brought me food. Because when who's a man one glass and every maybe I was as I said with me the first glass and the amount of alcohol level we are your blood alcohol we mentioning content as a whole body. So the next thing for him to do was to bring me food to bring down the way any
alcohol energy.
And I didn't see on to see me when I say after that you see when you know it becomes funny. I was laughing, I was smiling because I'm a bartender. I own the restaurant, I own the beer, I was so gaming and way again. The policies around it is that the establishment is responsible to make sure, say, the person does not gamble their whole house on it. So the education, they are responsible for bringing out education in the public system. So people know what gambling is. There's an addiction. There's also a helpline, which the gambling establishment, they make more money. So they have to fund for it. There's also a therapy.
Of course.
So many psychologists around gambling. I'm saying, Canada, what is your take on you being back and forth in Canada? What is the relationship between Ghana and the international? Do you think even the government? So more money. Why nyashiyama wa asenso a na o kwa akoye ne den. Yes, why nyashiyama wa ase a. Unko bone krono. Oma tua yen wa abrochi boy yen krono wa hanomo. There's so much things these politicians can advocate for the Ghanaians here. Oma be say the system no. In fact, our political system has ruined chances for Ghanaians here. What do you think a government, someone who is party follower, who is listening right now, the chances are no any politicians for Abe Sisi Yamano Ukurumwa? What do you think you can tell me? Because there are so many universities who are seeking, there are so many visas, different types of visa, different types of countries advocating for their people. Nigeria is up there again. Professors who are in schools advocating for Nigerians say, my first language is English. Canada. What do you think an average person in Ghana seeking a opportunity to come to Canada, Yanka Canada, what do you think they should watch out for? And what is your advice for someone who wants to leave Ghana?
Well, you see, it borders on an MMU. One, obia betu kwan anaso baka so ko school baby no. Na owo ne vision anaso owo adekudi nti opesu tu kwan. Students, as you're talking about, me no obia nim say whether I would like it or not, the reality is that good schools were. The reality is that other countries of the world, Oma package home school system ni ye. Home school system no package ye no. Oma package no targeting not only schooling the people or giving them school, but then educating them. So there's a strong and a big difference between going to school and then going to educate. So whereas the school is the hub, education is the professional pattern and the path. So we have schools, but we are not educating the people. So if you are not educating the people, you do not get the professionals, requisite professionals. But if you to take them to school, they can go hold books, bags, and know how to read and write. As they say, Ghana presidents, governments in and say, by the year this episode will be in school, it is wrong. By the year XYZ, I want Ghanaians to be educated. Now, what can Nigeria for? Almost professors' advocacy or telling the Canadian government, say, what are they seeking to attract? They are seeking to attract two things. They are seeking to attract professionals. In Nigeria schools need know how or train. Two, they are seeking to attract economic liberalization because Obaha no because school, no be a certain profession. The profession might in the future be used in Ghana. People will benefit economically. Nisika so be see hospital unemployment obetima arrest obefe ni penny be economically so waha ne so ko school enonya adwuma yeso a otimi disika e de ko efie e ma ne touch based down on the family because Ghana has said enyame through the economic statistics the amount of money that we get from international transfers and disbursements it is more or less the fourth income of this country or our country called Ghana. That money comes from where? It comes from the diaspora community of Ghana. So if the diaspora community of Ghana, without them, now you need them. Without Ghanaians going to Germany, now you need, your friends say, a Showman estate. Without the Ghanaian community in Germany, now Santa Maria ni in see. Without the Ghanaian community in Holland, now Ebia Makati Hill ni in see. And. Because a lot of countries have embraced migration. Office say the potentials, the education, and in the near makakra to sini. Into a per se, and can you crum for no crane be enko a kwampaso, enko country binko ye juma. So they use the abilities. Now I'm coming to the Nigerian to negotiate and advocate. It is never like that. But then it must not take only a Nigerian lecturer to do that. They have a Nigerian High Commissioner who is having a mindset to sit down and interface with the Canadian system. Say, "Ya pamochao, ya nkura anu guho, ompesu mbesku ya mama kwai, osimema quota. Quota ni saying the Nigerian student quota are never Canada, never 20,000 a year. Nigeria tima pushi about 50,000 a year. Into able families, into 50,000 students, appear for Nigeria about Canada. Within a period of 1 year, all things being equal, 50,000 students by year Juma, 50,000 students by school. At the end of the next 4 or 5 years, 50,000 Nigerians about by educated professionals. And you mean a person in that of the 50,000, they move 10,000 Krakofia, they are impacting the proficiency of what they came here to learn. The story is not different from Philippines. The story is not different from Thailand, where Filipinos on only training of nurses and sell them to the Arab Peninsula. It is through the government nursing colleges. I went to Yakano, but we prepare women for the Arabian market. And the salary of Kwakoji bear $10,000 or $5,000 a Philippine, Untiminyamu $800. What does it mean? Ojisikana on fan top and Tadia or Hong Kong, or the Sikan be cookroom, or the be command mame, or be command papa. The story of the Ghanaian is not different. In Ghana, I've done a program where I said, Ghanaian diasporans are the only ones that have been used by the government, abused and thrown out because you are all enslaved by the system. One, no Ghana government gives accommodation to the aged. Me mama o papa o mama a oya abrewa oni waya government work grant or adwuma ne pension kra yintua. Ya manu free hospital. Ya new aged home or ya de obi kohwe oni social service bi e kohwe. me ba jota se ne baba wo krum ha wo ye adwuma 2 times 3 times eno ogi sika no ti ubekọ no say am tete afro shop ma me na dem say tap cent me nya advert mo bia but then now all the 20 e dey akoma ne brother meanwhile the younger brother crow tifi out of frustration wanye mo bi ne sister ukruma na ekotu eska dey akoya abortion eno wo ho ebi di ni nua oti krom ha wa be ye adwuma wo awa bubu wa kotodwemu anyina emre no o brother wanya 35 years o ware na akọ yiska me edi hwe ne edi egutua ne riska wona akotua o nana bi o papa bi a wafiri mu ne funda ka na akotua ska di ye na ade kotua until you turn up and become a slave. Ghana government and pass wasre until case because at the end of the day a daya Ghanaian says siamo mabusu for them no one kasa maybe so kwa we daya we see 5 bedrooms so kwa da hotel because the obekwa unu amayemu no why na country ben and na echen Ghana na djuma efo ni kro ni nationals etia broche ye adwuma ono otia na sakotua electricity be mani nu amayemu it is only Ghana. Because aban no subjectively what we ni nyina echi no oba gudu airport a ho de ekira say no it was even wrong for you to have traveled. However, the government has forgotten say without you no and kanipa ni the street so until at the end of the day she said the Ghana for asi adan she said the Ghana for mu dia na government dia zero obi a wasi dan dodo na na ba 90% nyina ya 24. What have they benefited from the government is more or less zero. Rather, no, or the banchi ba. Ghana ni the number of televisions. So Canada, how many years? 10 years. With the television send the far airport and answer with the far cargo di buy container. Yes, Yabama 2. Seriously. But now 20 years na me be fear. I want to them television. Do kwa di ba mama di aka go to duty. Turkey didn't do that to their nationals. Brazil wanye sa to the nationals. Korea wanye sa to the nationals. Sika mkonya ini nyina amfabra. Now back to the same Nigeria issue say. Your Ghana missions, with all due respect, I've had a confrontation with several of them. What did they come here and do? Oh, they are only because omu ye political appointees and now say were political diplomat. Into the real career diplomatic work, on tiase enti ne dia ne se Ghana ni kura ne benya trouble o frena o be ye there ha ana se momra ana ahye majority of the Ghanaian missions abroad o mu nyina sabi o maginu enya adwuma because their mission for coming there do nima ye African Day do nima ye Ghana independence Ghana Republic eno ano dia ka no eye ba no frantuma Ghana ambassador now subidi na chi yeah obetra no aprom at the end of the day Ghanaian passport kurawu a oso onye
ofre kora mo
for UK na kohwe over years kohwe the omu ye the Ghanaian citizen applying for their do you understand me in Nigeria they are business minded Ghanaian students backroom ha Ghana on the ratio so ubusa Canadian government in reality in real terms say between Ghana and Nigeria, students no power be choose Ghana. Ubusa the Australians will be using Ghana ahead of Nigeria because who a certain background and a certain character. I'm not saying say Ghanaians are the best, but then no say the impressions are almost so created ma omo more hatred kakra. Not that we stand there no, they have missions oma dream do omo prepared say Germany say ya che Ghana ni a say bi nkrata ewu near the new coffee, a chin Nigerian near and crater wedding coffee, and Nigerian ambassador Bakachen I don't know him. This boy no be Nigerian.
Oh, yeah.
As well, Nigeria said, there were proof. We don't know this person. He doesn't speak any Nigerian. On sign, net on sign, China, and but Ghana need the whereas embassy in bar. All banner a friend no one ye laissez passer and will picture cry at the man on their boss or banway to enable them to deport you. But they don't think, say, these are the people who have hustled. These are the people that Wabatina say, I'll go through hiki haka, etmanja chrono resident permit and passport. I want a man to the man because to have been young for some. It is not like that. Until we don't have, oh, Sanana Major said, Ahoya is part of what? Your problem. A yaw se obi enya hoto, a yaw so obi nimbibi che obi is part of the Ghanaian problem. And if we mean government that are serious, and for that matter, MPP, NDC, country benya prosperity. Let's say global politics, global trading, market, open marketer. And your one basis any timid me investors. One basis ni timi ko eco challenge and also ko seek say me pacho quarter way say edaha woman. Look, me mo bidding. But there was this Ghanaian woman, Ghana Canadian government, a man. So 1 year recruitment or a better oil fields. Or Canada or prepare or producing oil no they don't go commercial market to sell. And when they decided to do, because of the world inflation in my man, or bow a Ghanaian and yet this our contracting man. I've consulted for her. Onya more, not less than more than 2,000 RS with Mdumba a better region. With a promise of 2,500 per one person be or baby piano, for people to go and live in a better and work on the oil fields. When she had come to Ghana, the Ministry of Employment must give what? Also inform them because a illegal migration. So the Ministry of Employment must come in, Ministry of Finance to give her support. Mama, they didn't do. She has to divert to Malawi. And the Malawi president meets her on the tarmac. Malawi president.
I can't sit down.
I can't think. Malawi president. A meeting. And this woman sits on the International Labour Organization now as the deputy board where Ghanaian Kwasha contracts ya diamano. Dubai many be, China many be, Obiaman or recruit our Kenya or recruit Sierra Leone.
Or your queen.
Wait, Mr. Mimobi.
I know who.
Do you know the international contracts in their hands? They just say, access, catch and say, make me see. I consult for her. Yeah. She is an international labor organization as what? A consultant. Yes. International illegal migration worker. Yeah. Contracts are also need to say. Yeah. Malawi will do Malawi, meaning who do Mozambique.
You know Steven Seagal.
Oh, madam, would hear me.
Hey, Ghana.
I throw or no, Anna, your friends every time I live in Abidjan. I know her. I got me. Fanico Mozambique. What is happening here? So I done
she's very nice.
They just say, Fanico Mozambique. When him how many schools in Canada? And a man sent Pachoko for students' brain. Do you know how many Canadian companies, Canada government mayors, Prime Minister level, man?
Mrs. Saga, Mayor,
oh, may Charles say. Mammy craning in our country, so yen Sierra Leone, peaceful. Or yen Malawi, peaceful. Or do Tanzania Asian airport, car be funny limousine. Or do Sierra Leone, baby, or recruit to those countries. Why not Ghana? Because Minister of Employment, all man authorization, they sabotage her. Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
That's why I stopped seeing her.
May say, and you'll be see, may say. She consults me, I consult her, we are good friends.
Yeah. What?
I get me. Or you're board at the United Nations level. International Labor Migration, Certified Migration. Countries are worldwide, Australia, New Zealand, yeah, per workers. You go through her. And we got Tanzania, Tanzania professionals. Mozambique, in your hair plumber. Oh yeah, one Ghana and you wait Ghana.
She brought some to pick even away worms into Okofa or away Spanish.
Mama, their embassy would not even give her the support. Because
I'm sorry, but are we crazy?
They do not understand. We can't tell you certain things.
So we are trying to get the Canadian government to look at. So you're trying to say if we get such opportunity.
So some of you should now also stimulate the conversation because Canada, a country will go out. Because they say in the population, in the energy, in the labor population are decreasing.
Yeah, people are quitting.
And it is so going well. Not quitting work until they are aging, and the average Canadian population is so sinking.
No, even the young ones don't want to work.
To
tell you the truth.
So therefore, the job must be done. The gap must be fixed. Therefore, they need people. And today in Canada, a team funny plane, Ecosis a country be no international legal migration. Legal migration chroma is immigrant state. And legal migration will embrace each other. There are 4 Commonwealth countries, Australia or illegal migration. New Zealand or illegal migration. Says the UK crochet, Nancy or Sissim Ghana, so for Ghana nurses, share the ministry now. Almost nurses in Kayam form certificate. Now would they say excuse me?
One of the nurses.
They said they won't give it to them. And yet Onu a we nursing college 3 years in onya rotation and what one wawo and an ho kire no and ani kuru nya adwuma wa benya labor e wo UK say woni ne yire ne ma etimi ba be ye adwuma e ready or say me ma on connect to china because they need a certificate. What makes you a nurse? You should show your certificate don kwa amwe ne kwa hwa merwafo ete midwifery and nursing council so they has to give approval no because Ministry of Health ema wo mu nko adani a montena ha. Seriously,
it's here. I don't know. I can't think.
These are the issues. As a motor radio, so I'm motor so amonka. And your PCP, MPP, constituency, no. Tell the government.
Yes.
And the incoming, the outgoing. Say MPP, NEPO, send this in NEPO, whatever. This is the message you should tell them. Say, don't come power to power and do the same nonsense like others are doing. Don't come to power and then do comparative brochures.
Okay. Do you think, say, as a Ghanaian,
yes,
just like what you're saying,
yes,
we need to take a stand, whether MPP or NDC, to tell them the truth. But if you're not part of them, how do you tell them the truth?
Mama, if you are part of them,
you can tell them the truth.
Okay, let's see. Coco, join the part of them and let's see the truth.
No, I don't need to be part of NDC and MPP.
And I'm just saying.
But you need to, for you see, because maybe I've sat in so many of this equity and anti-racial and there are people here who are liberal never so and our needs will be looked at because it's a collective way. They will go to that and say, this is what we need from you.
Mama.
So I think Ghana needs to start doing that.
You're beautiful. For
Canada, they are now
you're a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
Let me tell you something. They all can. I'm saying and I'll say it again. The story of Ghana is not different from Namibia. However, Ghana independence 66 years. Namibia independence 1980. African country on the new Brunei ne colonizing no. South Africa no appetite or brain on the colonizing Namibia. Let's go to Namibia. Nyanko share cities like Windhoek, Dixon Hohe, Nyanko share Namibia. Never catch me say either MPP or NDC, they've done better. And Namibia only need independence 30 something, 40 something years ago. No, we need 43 years ago. No, Sabi, Wajimi, go and look at it. We had independence, of course, before Kenya.
But don't you think this tension? This character now say yen behavior towards each other is so bad. Say we don't want to see it goes beyond not knowing or knowing, because the character, the way we see ourselves, whether you believe it or not, I think Ghanaians are shying away from the real issues in Ghana. Everybody is playing it safe. They don't want to talk about it, but that's the main issue. The way we see ourselves, education is not there to see you as. It doesn't matter because Yeshua, no matter what you think, I are superior, and people actually think like that. My point to you is that don't you think it goes beyond education? And sometimes the education is not just but it's about ourselves. The Punjabi heritage. Why heritage? School for one and Kolani in him say Niana and Kolani ba office one no mukura, China niba. Any tuntumni omekro monsa so mo beje aisa efekeke. So they grow up knowing say when it's time for Hindu ni ba ne besha ne ba atade aba school mo. And the black child is also learning, and when it comes to African Heritage Month, they are all learning all those things, Asian and African this That education has brought this unifying way beer. Who Indian is the teams, Canada team now. Washada, I build a pack. And yes, or build ma a party or even certain people, and as an Indian fool, but he built it for Canadians and for the children in the neighborhood. So, for the community. So the emphasis is not on yang. I think we need to kill that spirit that is rising, and I think it needs to be in a conversation. That difficult conversation needs to be had. Obisi Mimisa was saying, what is the difference between policy and manifesto? Isn't party policy? Isn't it the same as the manifesto? Policies.
I can.
Manifestos. Isn't manifesto what the party is coming to do? Is what the people. Isn't I'm sure that they didn't just go and sleep in some room and as almost take some joint, almost draw a manifesto. No, I'm sure it is about a research based. It is about a real search about what the people actually want. I remember Mahama going around asking for the people we manifesto. No
consultations.
Yes, so he will know what is really that the people need. A pressing issue. What is the difference?
Okay. So if the policies of state called the national agenda is the same as policies enshrined in their manifestos, 66 years we will not be where we are now. You and I will not be singing this. Listen to me. Party manifesto is the ideals of that party. That party, you listen to me, that party coming into government. How and why, the reason and how they want to rule. They want to govern. They want to administer. They want to manage. They want to monitor. They want to control. It's what they put in there. Bring NDC party manifesto. The last 16 years, Jerry Rawlings 8 years, John Mama Atamil's 8 years put together. Bring NPP manifesto. President Kufuor to Nana Addo, 16 years. Put them together. And don't forget, we've had 8 governments under the Republic, 4th Republic. 8 governments gave 8 different parliaments. Each of the government, President Kufuor 2 times, President Rawlings 2 times, President Mills 1 time, President Mahama 1 time, joint 8 times, 2 times, President Nana Addo or Kony 3 times. Ebia omu de manifesto by. So I'm asking you. So if you followed the manifesto of 2020 elections, the manifesto of 2016, say who follow in our calling as a policy, and 2020 no, you don't need the one you in Kabetwaso. Is that the party policy that the person referring manifesto and policies are the same? Is that what makes President Biba or say, my roll out, I'm taking the Yusu, this present government. Agenda 111, OBC 100 hospitals.
Virtual
hospitals. About you are rolling out. I am the manifesto of Pesoye. But has he forgotten said, a certain party manifesto also gave 25 district hospitals. Also 25 district hospitals no roll out no. Say country national agenda na policy and 25 no. And ko see 25 ni nyina ngu ho abra one completing ko besi one we no okutu we no okotrin at the end of the day.
The process was wrong.
So at the end of the day ko wie ya no and ko nya 10 na ya wie ya adwuma rather than say nya 25 in the bush.
So that was
it is because the party manifesto is only gearing towards election and electoral winning. To win the next election. That is the party manifesto what for. Read the party manifesto. Ubie MPP party manifesto. The first thing no, we praise the party no. NDC manifesto first and introductory no, we praise no. Second thing no, what kind of grassroots? Waka Ghana for asemo. What kind of grassroots members of the party?
It's scary. You want to hear that?
Yes, the grassroots members must be encouraged so that they will be able to work hard for the party to sustain party. How does that work?
Chairman want to me or no
Chairman want to me or say please. So
project
it doesn't matter. So at what point you see We are being objective here.
I just gave one.
That is okay. So, Mr. Mema, another example says you didn't get here when he was a secretary. So, at what point does the party manifesto speak and praise the grassroots members for making sure the party comes to power?
Okay.
Enforcing and telling the grassroots members, say, the party shall take the necessary steps to make them happy, equip them, blah, 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 when they force and help, blah, blah, blah. So, if you read the party manifesto now, the holistic book in the end of it, it centers on the party, how they will be able to sustain.
So what you are referring to is
so the national agenda should not come from the party manifesto. I don't need that nonsense. That's what I'm saying. I say, why not share party manifesto? No?
It is the party people.
It is the party people. Okay. So if the party people wrote it, that they should write something that will help them. And what the NDC create on manifesto? Any national book. NDC there, MPP there, any national book. And the manifesto also the government to Oba. Oba the party manifesto centers in the area of their stronghold. Go and read them.
Even stronghold, no crowd, there's nothing.
They don't do it. And then I make sure, sir, because we read here, party members they encouraged to go and vote because there's a certain manifesto. Yeah. But national policy, my brother or whoever wrote it, and they say, country now an agenda the whole. And the agenda is given to the parliament. It is a President Muhammad Nebaya. You cannot start building rooms and building schools, e-blocks in a community be a school in here. Sir President Nanadu Nebaya, you cannot also just get up. Say, Mr. Sumi, agenda 111.